Today on a Major Kool-aid report, I'm going to be discussing competition, and I'm going to be discussing the culture of competition that's actually getting better in Dallas. I mentioned it yesterday on a video that I did on the Dallas Cowboys versus Denver Broncos, and I did a brief video, but I'm going to go heavy into it today because this is actually making us better. But before I get into the details of the Dallas Cowboys and the competition and how fostering competition is going to make us better, it's going to also answer some questions that I see some of our fans have with certain players. Like, I keep hearing stuff about McGovern versus Tyler Smith. Should they go ahead and just start Tyler? We gonna go through all of that. But before we do, I want to first start with saying that there's no team in the NFL that has been better than the New England Patriots at fostering a culture of competition. Nobody. To the point to where a lot of people obviously give Tom Brady a lot of credit for being the GOAT, but I'm gonna tell you, you got to credit also Bill Belichick because of the environment that he created. So for years, literally, Tom Brady used to say for years that he had no doubt in his mind that if it was in the best interest of New England, that they would get rid of him. He was saying that even after winning 4 Super Bowls. He kept saying it because he believed it. And guess what, though? That always kept him on edge. That always kept him hungry. That always kept him year in and year out doing his best to be all that he could be for that organization, because he knew that organization will replace him even with his Super Bowls. Now, Dallas ain't got a culture even close to that. We will put people on the pedestal like Sean Lee and Witten, and even our greats like Zach Martin and T. Smith, to where they get to a place with the Dallas fans and the Dallas organization that you can't even critique them. You can't even see their aging. It's a violation to even say it. But it was different in New England. And when did he change? When did he start changing? He started changing after Kraft signaled that he was actually favored. But before I get into that, why would somebody like Tom Brady with all those accomplishments be so bought in to the level of competition and feeling like he can get fired? Because he's actually saw his organization do it. So like with Rodney Harrison, a lot of people don't know that obviously he was an all-pro. But when they acquired him, they already had a 2-time Pro Bowler safety and team captain. And they got rid of him for Rodney. And guess who saw it? Tom Brady. So when you got a history of watching this happen, yeah, you go be humble. Yeah, you go be motivated, and yes, you go max out every year. This is what changed Brady, because it was at one time it was obvious that Bill Belichick was looking to move on from him and go with Jimmy Garoppolo. But he was finally overruled by Kraft, and Kraft sided with Brady. And sure enough, they lost the magical hold that they had on his brain. And then Brady, for the first time, began to speak out against the organization. Now, I'm pretty sure he was always occasionally upset at the tyrant and the strict nature of Bill Belichick. But what emboldened him to speak out? It was when finally there was a leak in the dam of culture that Kraft started by showing, hey man, we not getting rid of you for Jimmy G. And that's the first time the signal was sent to Tom Brady that, hey, we need you and we not letting you go nowhere. And then he became emboldened and he began to talk like he never did before. So compare that to Dallas Cowboys, right? Where you can see cracks of a lack of accountability, especially with Mike McCarthy and Ben DiNucci, right? because Ben DiNucci got an unbelievable amount of reps. He's local to Mike McCarthy, and most of us will see that's playing out with the competition of Ben DiNucci. It's like he's able to stay around. But if it wasn't for that and that bad signal that's being sent by Mike McCarthy on his guy Ben DiNucci, Mike McCarthy would be having a uptrending track record in terms of fostering competition. Because I'm gonna tell you, competition has fixed some of our worst players. Now hear me out on this. I'm just being all the way honest. One, and easily, competition has fixed Anthony Brown. Yes, it has. See, it was a time, and I'm being all the way honest with y'all, that he was obviously, in my opinion, being favored. And whenever you favor players, they don't max out. It creates an entitlement in their minds to where they don't play as if their jobs depend on it, because it actually didn't. Jordan Lewis, as a rookie, outplayed Anthony Brown, and it was clear. And I would say for 3 years straight, he was the clear better player for Anthony Brown. And my first videos was on this. Like, I actually did a video where I said, did my first video. It's low budget, very grainy, but very good. Where my first video ever was 0 excuses for Anthony Brown starting over Jordan Lewis. That was my very first video. And I highlighted in that video how Anthony Brown was responsible for 17 touchdowns. 16 to 17 touchdowns. And yet they kept starting him. They just kept starting him. And even though they obviously had undying faith in Anthony Brown, he never was coming to the place that he could be and should be. He wasn't. It wasn't working. All the faith wasn't working. And then I also showed in this grainy video how he was losing to mostly third receivers and fourth receivers. And I went through all his touchdowns that he caused, and yet they kept over and over putting him back out there over Jordan Lewis. But what happened? Let me keep going, because it's more. Even the start of the season, I was on his head. I did a video after the Tampa game about the 9 lives of Anthony Brown, because it was obvious. It was obvious that he was getting preferential treatment. But something happened that turned him around. You know what happened? 2 guys was drafted to replace him, finally. And ain't that funny? We get a premium pick in Kelvin Joseph, and we follow up with insurance with Nashawn Wright. Is it a coincidence that all of a sudden you get Anthony Brown's best year? That is the power of competition. Because if you look at Anthony Brown, right, and you look at his measurables, he always had what it took in terms of an athlete. Obviously, his size, 5'11", 192, not too big. But if you go look at his speed, this is electronic. That dude ran a 4.35 electronic. What a lot of people don't know is he also bench pressed 225 19 times. Bro, that's crazy. Vertical wasn't too bad. He had the measurables. He wasn't playing up to it. So what ruined him at first? It was the lack of competition. We also ruined a couple of other players. You know who else we ruined? Yeah, we ruined La'el Collins. Yeah, we ruined him. Yeah, we fully ruined him. We gave the wrong message over and over. We basically said with the treatment of La'el Collins, hey man, you can come in out of shape. You can miss a whole season because you was out of shape and you got injured from being likely out of shape. And then guess what? Hey man, even if you get suspended 5 games, this fan base is gonna still favor you, and this organization is gonna still favor you. Like, why would he max out the freak that he is when the Cowboys just give it to him? Yeah, and we dropped the epic ball. And we almost messed up bad because the guy who was doing everything right in terms of making the gains, working hard in the offseason, was Terrence Steele. And then even though he was, in my opinion, our best lineman at right tackle, yeah, it was a whole lot of lobbying that we need to insert back Lyle. He'll roll out of bed better than Terrence Steele, and it was a lie. It was always a lie. So, and guess what? We did too. As good as Terrence Steele was playing, we went with the guy who was having the outfield issues, the guy that was having the discipline issues. So why would he max out if we go just give him his job? Let me ask you a question. Do you really believe that would have happened in New England? Do you really believe they would have had an undrafted free agent playing just as good as a player on contract and would have reinserted him back into the starting role? No. All of us already know once Steele started playing in New England, they would have traded Lyle early and would have got some value out of him too, because they wouldn't have been talking in the public. See, that's the difference to where you have a culture of competition and a culture of, hey, these are my guys, I'm gonna bet on you type culture. And that's just a fact. But the Cowboys under Mike McCarthy are trying to turn the corner. They are. Under Mike McCarthy, I am seeing improvements in this area. I did another video where I discussed this slightly. Now, some people kind of misunderstood it, but I did a video where I explained that the Dallas Cowboys accountability is key and starts from the top, where you can actually see that they're trying to make a shift to more accountability, more competition. I think they did a self-evaluation and they found we need to be stronger in the area of fostering real competition. And we are seeing it play out because it does create a better culture and and a better outcome. Prime example, one of the best examples, period, and that's recent, is Dennis Houston. Yeah. So Dennis Houston jumps on the scene. He's an undrafted free agent. Most people would say don't give these type of guys a chance. They was undrafted for a reason, boss. But the Dallas Cowboys are not doing that. They are rewarding his hard work. And he keeps stacking good days and they're rewarding him for it. And he deserved it. I watched him up close. I already told y'all about that. I did a video on that. But it's also having residual results on other players like Noah Brown, right? So Noah Brown, to me, was on a career track of Anthony Brown, getting chances over and over and over and over and over and over again. Most people wondering how the hell did this dude keep even making the roster, right? But now all of a sudden you seeing the best Noah Brown that you've seen. Why? Oh, but the same thing that happened to Anthony Brown when they brought in Kevin Joseph and Nashawn Wright. When Dennis Houston started running with the ones, oh yeah, that put a fire in Noah Brown. And now all of a sudden we seeing Noah Brown just like we saw a new Anthony Brown that we ain't seen ever. And guess what? That competition is spreading to people like Simi Fioku, who also starting to turn up. Why? Because a message was sent. We finally trying to get a culture that's similar to New England, to where we don't care where you drafted. We don't care. We want to see you do it on the field consistently, and these guys start getting after it. It was because, let's be honest, it's because the Dallas Cowboys are doing right when it comes to competition. So yeah, you know, it is what it is, man. And it's one of those things that we all should welcome. So this leads to this, because I keep saying this. Boss, it's so stupid, the Cowboys. They drafted Tyler Smith in the first round, and they not even starting him. What kind of dumb organization is that? No. They doing this right, y'all. They doing this right. See, because it don't even matter. I want y'all to hear me out. It don't even matter that he better than McGovern. It don't matter. What it's about is trying to get the max out of him. If you just give him the job because he was drafted, let me tell you that is called entitlement. He's our first rounder, so therefore he should start. No, hell no, he should not. What he should do is we should do just like we did with Anthony Brown and Boss Man. Make them boys earn it. I don't care that you was drafted in the second round. You gotta unseat Anthony Brown. That's just what you gotta do. We not gonna give it to you because you was drafted in the first. And yes, can Conner McGovern play better? Yes. That's not the point though. I'm not making that point. I'm making the point on how do you maximize your talent? How do you get that Noah Brown uptick? How do you get that Simi Fioku uptick where these guys are out there maxing out? Where you got to keep that competition fresh and you got to keep it in the backs of their mind, like New England did with Brady for years, that we will replace you if it's in our best interest. If the whole team thinks that, even if it's not true, if they're thinking that because they saw examples of it, like Rodney Harrison to New England, then yeah, you not gonna have that like L. Collins entitlement. You don't even have to police it. He would have already known that because I got this contract does not shield me from not getting cut. It won't shield me from not being replaced. And we would have automatically got a much better player with the established culture. So I gotta say this, and I mean this. We are seeing a better culture change from the Dallas Cowboys. It is better. Now, is it perfect? No. But is it better? Yes. Absolutely yes. So here we go. This is another one of those Measure Kool-aid reports. And I thank y'all. Y'all been liking and subscribing to the channel. Continue to do that because I'm going to continue to give you these type of reports and Measure Kool-aids. But trust me, I've been watching this for years. The Dallas Cowboys are headed in the right direction. Even with getting hit in the mouth by Denver at practice. It's going to work out. Y'all stay up. Peace.